It's another one of those days where I just feel like I've got a few things to get off my chest. And this time, I'll be talking over footage of LNER A4 Pacific number 4483 Kingfisher running on the Western Lines of Scotland route in TS Classic. To be absolutely crystal clear, this video is not, I repeat, not being made for sympathy or views. That's not why I make these things. This is my channel, and I'm free to make the videos however I want to make them. In saying that, there won't be a discussion of a specific song this time, as I am not in the mood for that sort of thing at the moment. Well, not an extended discussion anyway. But that aside, here's Kingfisher pulling away from Newton Stewart for a run to Castle Douglas. If it's any indication as to how I've been going as of late, some of the songs to which I felt like listening the other day were Silent Lucidity from Queensryche, the extended mix of Only the Lonely from The Motels, You Belong to the City from Glenn Frey, Talking in Your Sleep from The Romantics, and Swamp by Talking Heads. To be specific, I prefer the studio version of Swamp, as I've never been a fan of the Stop Making Sense live album. Don't get me started on how they butchered Psycho Killer and Once in a Lifetime. Anyway, it may not surprise anyone to learn that I've been at a bit of a low point this week. That is due to numerous things, such as feeling guilty over various stupid things I've done in the past, worrying that people would still think bad of me, even though I'm learning from my mistakes and trying to move on, still grinding away on videos despite feeling like I don't have much energy, multiple unpleasant experiences on the Enviro 200s, and ending up unintentionally overwhelming myself with some of the crazy shit going on elsewhere in the world, even though it doesn't affect me personally. It's times like these where I turn to my anthems for want of a better word, comfort. One of those anthems is, and will probably always be, the extended 7-minute and 30-second mix of Over My Head by Toni Basil. I've already discussed her song in the past, so I won't repeat what I said in those older videos. I'm still trying to see a counsellor once a week, but there's a problem with that plan in the sense that the bus scheduling usually, if not always, lines up in a way that results in the journey to and from the counsellor's office taking longer than what I feel is reasonable. In other words, it results in a very inefficient use of time, especially since my local route still only runs every 30 minutes. While others are lucky enough to run every 15 or 20 minutes. Yes, I realise that I could, at least in theory, go for the driver's licence, but I'd rather go for the burn. In all seriousness, there are other things, into which I will go no further, that still hold me back from getting a driver's licence despite being more than old enough to get one. The bus situation in my city can be rather annoying for reasons other than wildly inconsistent punctuality. Although, to be fair, I believe that the bus's poor reliability is not due to any fault with the bus company and local council, but rather external circumstances like roadworks and general traffic congestion that always seem to be conspiring against the buses. At least that's how my mind perceives things. And that's all without getting into my frustrations with how the new post-April 2025 bus stops in central Tauranga were designed. Bus matters aside, there are other things that I wanted to discuss today, such as my thoughts on Union Pacific's locomotive number 4547, but at the same time, I feel that doing such a thing would, unintentionally, kick off a firestorm to the point where it's probably best to keep my trap shut on those fronts. Such is the nature of the world in 2026. The darker state in which I have been this week doesn't make any sense, especially considering all the good things I still have in my life, such as a roof over my head, being able to afford a decent food, which I don't take for granted, and another thing that I don't take for granted is having parents that don't hate me and are still happily married after almost 40 years. And then there's also the unexpected generosity from Caledonia Works last October, and the good luck I had on the weekend of the 4th and 5th of July 2026. That's when I was down country chasing steam locomotive JB1236, as well as diesel locomotives DC4818 and DBR1254 on the central North Island main trunk. But before all those shenanigans with the excursions, I ended up meeting someone that I hadn't seen in around 7 years when I was up on the ski field north of Ohakune. How things could have possibly aligned so precisely for the two of us to be at Turoa, of all places, on the same day is beyond me. Thinking back to Caledonia Works, and other third-party developers for TS Classic, at least we've been blessed with several high-quality steam locomotive add-ons with which we can potter about at our leisure. One last thing before signing off. I do genuinely want things to get better where my mental state is concerned, especially since I'd rather not sink back to the levels that contributed to my long-running hatred of DL's 9688 and 9740, but whether or not things will ever truly improve remains to be seen. In other words, one could say that progress is moving at a glacial pace.